Welcome back, guys. Deathbringer here. So we continue on our PvE challenge. You can see the rules below in the description. So we started really quick using the civil guard ring, stuff like that. So the Undead settlement area, pretty interesting area, and maybe one of my favorite areas of the game. So there's a lot to talk about for this area, like game development wise and lore wise. So this area plays a huge part in the lore of the game, in case you didn't know. It's like FromSoft always tries to put an area that showcases what the everyday folk, like the everyday average human or hollow, whatever you want to say, goes through in these kinds of situations. And this settlement probably had most of the undead population, and they're pretty much wiped out from other factions of the other factions of a game, like the Cathedral of the Deep, like the Deacons of the Deep faction especially, is the one that conquered this area. We don't know exactly why the bridge is not working properly for the Lothric, maybe because of the swifting of the areas, maybe, or a huge battle went through, and like you see the dragon on the bridge on the other side, and we know that the Lothric and the Deacons of the Deep are against each other. So this area is the first area of the game, like, that you can take multiple paths. Like, there you have more choices than one to go to the end goal, and actually is the first area with the optional boss. Like, the boss of this area is not needed for you to finish the game. You don't have to kill that boss. And also this area has a hidden covenant, but you all know that stuff already. So anyway, moving through the game design aspect, as you see, the area welcomes you first of all to the huge bridge thingy. Yeah, we are kinda left behind on the commentary on that, but you see the area expands on and on. Like, it starts with an open area, then you go to the little house that I fought the little guys, and then again you're welcome in an open area with a lot of mobs and a lot of situations, like a lot of ways to deal with them. Like, FromSoft always does that. Like, you can use fire bombs to destroy the barrels and get rid most of them, or you can just sneak past them. Actually, you can legit just sneak past them if you don't want to fight them, but you're gonna lose an S2 sword, I think, is in this area. Anyway, you see me, I'm taking some damage here, but it's not a big deal, even in game plus 7. Thank God we have the rings. I could pretty much die right there, actually, now that I think about it. So anyway, switching some rings to get full advantage of my S2s. Yeah, that was a misclick, actually. Anyway, that's the first mini kind of, maybe more of your average harder, like, kind of enemy. So that enemy is right there to just push you a little further, actually. I think many new players will die here if they aggro too many mobs. Like, this place right here is to just showcase to you that just don't go guns blaze and aggro everything. Just kill things methodically and you should be fine. That's the first piece of this open area. Or even more, maybe it's an area to show you the other path that we are going to take. Like the path that you open the door. Maybe that's why it's the other path. But anyway, as you can see here, exploration rewards the player in these games massively. Like, you can walk here and just clear out this ambush that you're gonna face. So yeah, exploration really helps out. And blade out. Yeah. You see the little guys do a lot of damage. Yeah, new game plus 7, boys, remember that. Switching rings yet again. So this area is beautifully crafted in my opinion. It has a lot of things to do, a lot of things to showcase. You can learn a lot. It's a very big and rich area. Too bad some areas of the game are not that big. Too bad for us. Like, you could see the ambition of the project in this area. So this area actually has two paths to the boss gate, an optional area that you get loot and you can progress the quest of an NPC, a hidden covenant area, and on top of that, the area that an underground area that you can go through to explore to. So pretty much there's 3 NPCs in this area, and pretty much this area setups, holy shit, almost fell there, setups the lore for the rest of the game. Like it's the base of the lore for the rest of the game. So as you can see, that little, like this little optional area is a little harder than your average area. Like there are a lot of mobs here placed in very carefully situation, like the position they have and the way they're coded is very, very carefully made. FromSoft always does that to their optional areas. They try to make them a lot harder than the regular ones, as I said before. And actually you can see a lot up here. You can see the whole area right here. You can scout the whole area. We don't have time for that because of the challenge, but you can actually see the whole area. So the dagger pretty much can deal very easily with these kinds of mob, and it's a bleed dagger nonetheless. Some loot, yeah, can't take that. My inventory is full on this character, by the way, and most of the things, but anyway, we're chilling. Have to get rid of this one too. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. So, oh, you can actually say there are 4 NPCs. There's the cage NPC right about this corner, I think. You don't have to kill the poor guys. So anyway, silver card drink. We have opened the door, so it's fine. Another, like, this enemy is pretty weird. Even in the new game, this enemy has a lot of health for this area and does a lot of damage with that sword. So that enemy right there, once again, FromSoft, the usual strategy, will push you to the limit. Like, imagine that if you have, maybe in this area you have 5 Estus, maybe, I think 6 at most. So that enemy right there is to push you to your limit and pretty much tell you that there's a bonfire nearby, which it is. It's a hidden bonfire actually. Pretty interesting that FromSoft were like, you see the first areas of the game, they made them like way more harder than some of the others areas. Like a hidden bonfire, holy shit, in the second area of the game that most people I think will miss because you have to drop down. So anyway, here you get another covenant item, I think, and some Mesto soup. So another lit game design that I hope I could see more. So anyway, there's the soups. We know that Sweetward make them, so it's part of his quest. So anyway, another mob. That mob is looking really tough, and they have him solo, but he's not that hard. I have never thought to myself, this mob is harder. Another interesting mechanic they implemented, these cages take way more damage if you do thrust attacks. Very good mechanic, I would like to see that more. Yeah. Some types of the enemies should take more damage based on your attack. Like if they have so much heavy armor, maybe a blunt attack, or however it's called. Like, you know what I'm talking about, should do more damage, and regular slash should do way less damage. Like, it was a pretty interesting concept. I hope they could implement it more. Here yet again, I'm about to die, so going aggro and hoping for the best. Using a member right here. Remember guys, you can use embers freely, but you will risk getting invaded. So anyway, this small area here showcase another point of the evangelist, that they have these range attacks. And it's a really nice pressure tool, I think. Like this area plays really nice, like the whole thing. go inside the houses to take cover, and some houses have some mobs like the other one that fell down to you. They have traps and stuff. Silver card ring, drop them down. Well, missing completely, but going around, the roll when I need it. Yeah, you can actually dodge that grab attack by going around. Dodging everything, firebomb, and dodge. Remember, my katanas have bleed on, so no much of a base damage values right there. We have to wait for the bleed anyway. So after you cleared that little area with some traps and stuff like that, the game opens right here. So you get invaded from an NPC. Well, I actually have failed the challenge. That's why if you want to invade again, you can get invaded, and you see that guy right here. So the reason that guy is right there is to be scared. Like most of the players, we see that guy first. Like the reason he's there is to be scared and go back and light the bonfire. That's why he's here. And they place a bonfire right here, A, because it's close to the boss area, and B, because most of the people will die from these arrows first time. Like if you go without spoilers, you can still see the arrows, like the whole area is curved, is full of them. So if you're smart enough, you can avoid the trap. As always, brilliant game design. They showcase that, you know what, you maybe should look up. So of course I'm in New Game Plus 7 and I have the special item that lets me be friendly with a giant even if I haven't met him yet. So anyway, a little drop right there. But one thing I want to say is that just think about the secondary, in what lengths you have to go to find the bonfire I passed right here. Like you have to deal with the building before the open area, the first open area with one evangelist and many mobs. Then you get ambushed if you're not careful from up above in the room with the cages. It's gonna be pretty hard for you. And after that, you get in an area when an evangelist spams you with abilities. A lot of mobs left and right, and you have to take cover all the time. And after that, you get invaded. So, and if you overcome all of this, then you can freely just light the bonfire. So as you can see, the challenge in the second area is very, very hard, especially new game, like in a fresh run for fresh players that they don't know the layout of the area. And the other path you can take is just to skip the two evangelists. You can go on the bridge, just take this path right here. But as you can see, it's very sneaky, because imagine that if you take that path, you will end up there. We will go sooner or later. Holy shit, I don't know how that grabbed me, but thank God we're alive, boys. The run is still going. 1 HP, 1 HP. I have to waste 1 Estus right there without the ring. Here trading a bad trade. We'll have to retreat a little bit. So imagine if you, in the open area with the first evangelist, imagine if you kind of fight them, but you're getting overwhelmed, like get on the shoes of a new player. So you will go to the other area where, in the stables, where the little thing with the flame birds is gonna ambush you. Then you kill that, which is a hard enemy by itself. Then you move on into a trap with fire bombs up above. Then if you overcome that, you might take a hint that, holy shit, the dog is destroying me right here. Holy shit. That was very close actually. Slow weapons versus the dogs usually are fine because you get the hyper armor, but yeah, bleed out. So usually it's fine because you have the hyper armor, but in my case it wasn't that good, so I'm switching back to a faster weapon. 1, 2, 3. Much easier, yeah. So anyway, like if you go to the other area, You have to overcome all that. You have to overcome this trap right here. And if you are smart enough, you will realize, those guys are up above. How can I go there? And you have to actually drop down, which is a very risky move, especially for the first time you play the game. Like, almost no one wants to drop down this kind of games. Like, dropping down to a place that you don't know how to go back up is really scary for most players. So you will mostly miss that bonfire right here. So you have to avoid the trap, fight that enemy head on, which is the first time you encounter that kind of enemy, and he has support from above. Fight that enemy, and then you will go down where I fought the dogs and stuff like that. And then you have to think on your own to open the door with the rats. So if you don't go to the door with the rats, you're pretty much dead meat. You're pretty much dead. Because if you go the other way, then there's the optional area on the elevator, and there is the other area downstairs where the first Irithil Knight, or however you call them, a very, very hard mob to fight, is gonna wait you there, and you pretty much have no answer. So if you think about it, for first time playing this area is extremely hard for the second level of the game. Extremely hard. Both ways have a lot of enemies, both ways take a lot of time to complete, both ways have some kind of gimmick or a trap or something like that. Both ways have new mobs that you don't know, and pretty much a huge level that you can easily get lost to if you don't know the way it's warped around and it's going around. Very easy level to get lost to. So yeah, back on topic about that, like, it's really fascinating how the second level of the game is that hard, but you will see some other areas and you'll be like, like, what happened here? Why it's so linear? Why it's so basic? Like, I don't know. We will talk about them when the time comes. We can still get fascinated by how good this level is. Like, the only fault many people have is the second bonfire of the level. It's too close for the first. But I can get why it's there. Like, I wish the top bonfire didn't exist, so you had to force to watch the cutscene again and again, and until you found the second bonfire, like the bonfire after the door, the starting area of this area. Yeah. So I wish that was the case, but they added the one up on the walls just for the cutscene saving time sakes. Like, many people bitch about, like, sometimes that the Dark Souls games make you lose time on unneeded things, like why I have to walk to the boss gate, stuff like that. It's pretty hard to balance a game when you always need a clear path to the boss, and I don't know why it's a bad thing to have to fight to go to the boss gate each time you die. Like, many people will say, yeah, you know what, like, I want to fight the boss again and again and die again and again. Maybe you will pay more attention and pay more respect if it was harder for you to get there. Like, not annoying hard, but harder. So anyway, silver card ring for this optional area. Funny fact, you don't need the key if you have the silver card ring or the sorcery that lets you jump down here. So I'm realizing, I don't want to go there first. I want to go this way to clear the skeletons and then leap around. The skeletons right here, pretty easy stuff. Like, most likely they're here for, I would say, lower perspective, yeah, because they have the weird kind of branches coming out. So it's more of a lower perspective thing than a challenge thing, or maybe to get spooked. Like, they thought it's pretty unfair to have an enemy come off the ground like that for the first time. Like, it's the first time you encounter this type of enemy, an enemy that comes off the ground. But they made them so weak. Like, a lot of weapons can break their quote-unquote body poise, and after that it's pretty easy to kill them. Maybe this area is more of a, like, it will be a lot of harder if you open the door with a key, I think, than the way I'm going to. So So anyway, we're having fun with skeletons. So 3v1, pretty easy to manage actually. And here we see the skeletons with the hut. Maybe the same hut that the skeletons have in the catacombs originate from here. Maybe, who knows. So anyway, the lore replications in this game are crazy. So some things, sometimes you have taken things that it is like this bonus area is only for the lore. Like there's not much of a loot in here, but just a statue that lets you. Actually, that might be useful for new players. The statue that lets you stop the aggro of the NPCs, but a new player will never think about that, I think. So, like, if a new player aggroes an NPC, they're more likely they will fight that NPC again and again until they somehow kill the NPC or chase the NPC to die, something like that. And even if they come to that statue, it's not clear to request to forget your sins, because it needs a lot of souls. We know how new players are with souls, they don't want to give them up that easily. So this little optional area is pretty nice. It also serves as a starting point for a quest of an NPC. So anyway, right here, a little trap. New players might die here if you're not careful. Like, this place here teaches you two things. One, sometimes it's a better thing to retreat, like climb up the ladder fast and just get the fuck out. So, or two, learn how to fight multiple opponents in small spaces. So it's new game +7, that's why the rats won't die that easily. And they actually do respectable damage, even though they're rats of their second area. So we can finish them off really quickly and move on. Like the bleed does a very good job. Most of the enemies early game have a huge weakness on bleed. So anyway, as I was saying, it's really anticlimactic that this area plays out so good. It has the right amount of challenge, like you have multiple ways to go about it, has a lot of secrets, right amount of challenge, visually is beautiful, lot of enemies, plays out perfectly, lot of traps, ambushes, lot of gimmicks, stuff like that, lot of things to do. Like, this area puts the expectations really high, and I think, there are a lot of, like, if you think about it, that area rivals the DLC areas actually, at least for me. At the game design perspective, of course not at difficulty sake, but if you pump up the damage of the enemies and the health, of course they will get exactly like the DLC. Like, I think the Ring Knights New Game Plus have near 4,000, 5,000, yeah, 5,000 health. So if these enemies had the same health and did the same damage, I could really say that this area is exactly like a DLC. Like, it's so rich and there's so many things to find and do, and it also adds so much to the lore. Like, it's a huge welcome to what happened in this world. You meet a lot of functions, like you meet the Londor right here, you meet the first sites of the Pontiff Sullivan and his Cathedral of the Deep kind of thing. So you meet what happens left of Karim and miracles and stuff like that. You meet the first demon here. You meet a lot of things. Like, this area is introduction for a lot of things. And right here, the elevator game, another cool gimmick, I have to say. So that goes up. And why I didn't take the elevator actually. So as you can see, I died, and I want to face the strong mob right here before I go up, because I think pretty much I failed here. I'm not sure. I failed my challenge. I died here. We will see. I'm not sure. So anyway, that mob is really strong actually. Oh, he's not there. He's dead. Pretty interesting. Yeah, as you can see, I don't have so much time to try the challenge. multiple times at the same day. Maybe the recording was another day. So anyway, I was just going down to show you that he's dead. Maybe. So anyway, moving on. Yeah, this area is so rich. Like, take for example the next area, the Crucifixion Woods. A lot of it has the PvP aspect. Okay, it's the first area that will really push you to the limit PvP wise, but a lot of people won't remember after the first time they die. So initially the area is really hard because you have the watchdogs and stuff like that, but after that it's a lot of easier. Like it's the third area of the game, and it's cut into two parts. Like the first part you have to walk to, the part that you can't even PvP in, and the second part, that's the upper swamp. It's really boring. Like, it's just one open swamp area, like not many options. Okay, the structure at the end adds some stuff, but it's not like we're gonna talk about it in the next video about the other area. You know, it's not like this one. This one has character, architecture, like multiple ways to go about it. It's a huge challenge the first time you go around, because you will probably won't find the right path to the bonfires, and you're gonna run out of estes a lot. So it's really challenging. Yo, thanks you my boy for helping me out. As you can see, ring swamping and stuff like that, the usual. So yeah, this is another optional area. You can fight the demon, take some resource, some special resource here, find some armor, stuff like that. Also, this area has the nice mechanic that you can hit stuff up and they throw loot at you. Really nice. A lot of interesting stuff in this area. First, the thrust mechanic on the cages. Secondly, the mechanic that you interact with the environment. But also at the start of the area, the mechanic that the dogs attack the hollows. Like, so many things that they could implement in other areas, but they didn't. I don't know, I see, like, this area took so much time to be made, and the others area feel lackluster against that. Like, I don't know, like, maybe they thought about adding some other stuff. I don't know, maybe they thought not all areas should be that big because of the pacing. But if you think about it, like, right now the pacing is perfect. Like, the first area was quote unquote the tutorial area, and after that you get a bigger environment to test your skills out. Like, that environment will challenge you a lot to test you out, with long stretches before the second bonfire in the boss room, or the second bonfire in the other two bonfires, which, as I said multiple times, one of them is hidden and you will probably miss. So it pretty much gets down to rush into the other bonfire, and if you take the wrong path, you might not even find it. So throw a knife to finish that dog off. Ran attack, pretty interesting mechanic that dogs get thrown out when you hit them in the face. Another trap right here. Like, how many traps this area has? How many ambushes and traps this area has? How many, like, I don't know, I really, now that I'm thinking about the first time I played the game, this was one of the areas that I died the most, and I didn't even find all the secrets on my first playthrough. Like, it's really fascinating if you think about it. So, yet again, classic Dark Souls. If you scout out the trap, you can go ahead and kill everything before they gank you. If you open the chest, of course, they will drop down. So, really nice, really nice. And yet again, in Dark Souls fashion, like, the same way they build games, optional areas will be the hardest. Like, the optional areas will be the hardest. So it's the first time you encounter two of them at once, and there is a good reason. You get 2 rings, I think, if you kill them, and one of them is the stamina regeneration ring, a very good ring actually. And the other one is the Flint ring, which is a very strong ring early on too. Can pretty much go around naked, almost naked, like with the least amount of armor, and kick ass, cause the extra damage will greatly help your early game. So it's kind of a broken ring early game, even without much vitality. So anyway, we're bleeding them out. Not too biggie, not too biggie now that he's solo. Also another interesting thing I want to talk about. They make, like, the same enemies they make are not exactly the same. Some of them are more aggressive, or they do their quote-unquote better moves more, like the chance of doing a better move is more likely. You will see what I'm talking about when we fight a Magilist in the Cathedral of the Deep area. They have different, like they have the same kind of moveset, but their eyes is different. And I really like that a lot. It's changed the challenge. So anyway, I'm just dropping down and I'm thinking to myself, if anything is left. Probably realizing that, okay, I'm done with this area. I can pretty much look, yeah, hidden loot right there too. Yeah, this is how this area works. It's pretty nice, I have to say. So, anyways, guys, see you next time. Peace.